family. So we back with another one. Today what I wanted to do was I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how they want you to feel undervalued and underappreciated in the video. Sorry, let me stop. We know how well this tactic works, especially in today's society, because a lot of us, no matter how much footwork we put in, in this physical realm, no matter how much deep diving and spiritual inner work you do, the beings around us constantly are trying to project this vibration as though we are underappreciated. And when you actually process what's going on in today's society, they're doing a great job at what they're doing as far as projecting those vibrations. Some of us are strong enough to understand that we are appreciated, and for the ones who aren't strong enough, that's a constant battle within itself to feel appreciation from society. Not saying it as though you lean on society for everything, but for a lot of work and a lot of things that we do out here, we could start with a small example. For instance, the jobs. You over here putting in all this hard work and time at these plantations, and they undervalue you and they underappreciate you. They don't. If my thing is with the jobs and these plantations, if you're gonna underpay us, which most of us are getting underpaid, then we should at least get some kind of, not accolade, but some kind of appreciation or pat on the back for the work that we're doing for the underpay that we have been receiving. But we don't get compensated for either one of those from the majority or the masses. The universe is always gonna send you at least one or two people that's gonna show you or remind you that you are appreciated and that you are valued. But it becomes really difficult and tricky in today's society because most people are obsessed with these physical vessels. They are obsessed with these physical items, and in order to get to the physical items, you have to start somewhere, which for me, all starting points are from within. This is where we do our best work at, is from our inner space, which projects in the outside realm. Unfortunately, we got friends, family members, spouses, associates, plantations, that just don't value us as a being. They don't appreciate our vibration, the love that we give, the way we willing to bend backwards and fight for them, the way we fight for ourselves. And it almost puts you in a space of wanting to stay the fuck away from everybody, and we already got enough of society separating us, pulling us apart, putting that line in the middle, creating all that division in between, and this is some of the last tactics that we need right now, because we're supposed to be coming together as one, and for me, when I was bumping around, because everything is like a cycle. When I have those spells, or I'm in that part of my cycle where, it's like no matter what I do, everything feels underappreciated, undervalued. It don't necessarily harden me because I've been walking this way of life for a long time. But what it does is it makes me go back into the lab and I create a new armor. It makes me go back to where my home is, not this place. I'm not talking about this physical space that I'm in. I'm talking about my home, my inner home. And it makes me create tougher walls. Now, these walls have doors because everybody doesn't run into these walls that I engage with. But the ones that I don't know, I don't just allow people into my inner space so easily no more, you know? Or I don't allow them as, they can come in my house, but they're not going to check out all the rooms. How about I say that? Because I'm always going to be me. That's just how I've always been. I'm not changing it. It's going to be this way until I move on to my next journey. What I can say is I'm like the pagan holiday trick-or-treaters. You know, you can come knock at my door. I can give you some snacks, some treats. I may even let you into the front door, you know, just right along that little doormat area right on the inside. But you're not about to roam all through my house and my space, my home. You're not gonna go into each room. You're not gonna go into the bathrooms. You're not gonna go into the basement if I have one. You're not gonna go into the attic if I have one. You're not even gonna go into my kitchen. These are ways we have to perceive a lot of what has been taking place. Because you gotta imagine, like, if you harden yourself to the 5th degree, then you're not leaving any room for any of that love and light to come in through your windows, to slip in through the cracks of your doors, you know, to make its way through your ventilation system. We have to leave avenues, because if you block one avenue, 10 times out of 10, you're blocking all avenues. If I put up a wall right now, it's not a magical wall that just say, okay, well, this wall is only blocking, you know, bad vibes and energy. No, when you put up a wall, it blocks everything. That's the purpose of the wall. It blocks everything. So when you start understanding these things, you're like, all right, well, I do want this wall to block out most of this negative energy. But if I'm gonna have this wall up, I gotta insert some windows, because I know the sun is life, and I would like to still receive some love, light, and life inside of my home. So when you orchestrating these walls in today's society where you feeling underappreciated, undervalued, you know, it's like everybody has some weird kind of manipulation game with them, you know. I don't want to say everybody got an agenda, because we all, quote unquote, to a degree, have an agenda. You have a mission, that's an agenda. It's just a different word. Your mission is an agenda. You have a task, something to do. It's no different from the other way. But be mindful of these walls when you are putting them up. Make sure that you have the right materials to not block out all vibrations. If you're blocking out all vibrations, 10 times out of 10, that's gonna harden you, and it's gonna make you also reject positive vibes, the love from the universe. You know, it's gonna minimize your empathy. You're gonna feel way less sympathy. It has a counter effect when we do these things, you know? And when you are constantly in a state of being underappreciated and undervalued, you know, you feel like you're pouring all the way into, let's just say, the universe's cup, and then you don't feel like the universe is pouring back into your cup. When I say universe, I'm not talking about like the love and light that's out here. I'm just meaning, like, if you're in Western culture, that's technically the universe as well too. So you have to be mindful of these things. We'll run ourselves into a ditch if we aren't aware of what we're actually doing. Now, I like to take accountability and not always solely point the finger outward. That's why anytime y'all hear me speak, it's always a double-edged sword, because we're not always gonna be able to point the finger and not have some part or role that we played in the situation. Even if you was an innocent bystander and you got hit by a stray bullet, you still played a part. You know, you wasn't aware of your surroundings to see the situation, what was taking place. You was at a these things can happen anywhere, so I don't want to make that statement. But you have to be aware of your surroundings at all times. You know, You want to be mindful of the locations that you go to, because we're not always considered innocent bystanders in the middle of this war. You know, some of us are just really unaware and just be la 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 down the street. The way society is set up right now, your car can be a danger zone. I've lost cousins, associates to just being in the car, whether it was a car accident which ended their life, or whether it was somebody running down on them, shooting them in the car. Even if you just chilling in the car, you have 3 mirrors that you have to be aware of at all times. Have to be mindful of the beings that's strolling around past your space. You know, for me, I take it to the point to where even sometimes if like, I like to reverse park. I'm a reverser. So in certain spaces, if there's a car that's like reversed or pulled in, I try to make sure I'm on the opposite side of the driver's side, or, you know, just make sure that our 2 driver doors are not side by side each other. You know, it's just one of those things where I like to create a little bit of space between me, and if this is an opposition, I need to create that space. That's how my car got stolen a couple months ago. Was I just pulled in. I was just dropping off an order. I pulled in. The other car was reversed. So they was reversed, driver door right here. I pulled in. My driver door is to their driver door. Now I keep that protection on me at all times. So that was in my pocket. So they didn't get that, but they did receive the other items that they wanted to give. You know what I mean? And because this is my city, not my city, I don't own it or claim it, but I've been in this area for a long time. Now, and I'm known around here a little bit. So we end up finding the car in less than 24 hours, you know. It took a couple weeks to figure out who it actually was, you know. And that situation, you know, is a situation. I'll just keep it at that. And it's crazy because I was trying to correlate that with being underappreciated, undervalued, and apparently that random car that I didn't steer in the car because it was tinted, one of the dudes that was connected to my situation, I knew personally. No respect, underappreciated. I've given him rides before, you know what I mean? I've smoked with him before. I just dropped him off some, like, it's been several things. He's a youngin', you know what I mean? Probably like early 20s. I'm a grown ass man. But you still have to pay for when you are doing things of that nature. But I just wanted to drop some down up here, just saying that we gotta be mindful of getting caught in a loop, in a cycle of feeling underappreciated, because we already got society out here which is telling us we're undervalued and we're underappreciated. And I've seen a lot of people dive into depression and have high anxiety. I don't really believe in these things, but I know these are the words that's used, so I just kind of corresponded with the message. Really, when I want to substitute, I just say people get really chaotic and confused in their inner space, you know? And when you get really confused inside of there, if you haven't seen the movie Fog, or if you haven't been in any cities or like areas where the clouds drop down, when I come from this way and I go over the mountain, sometimes it's like extremely foggy where you cannot see. High beams are not going to help you, you know. You can keep your low beams on, but you gotta drive extremely slow. Even though the speed limit on the interstate is 65, you wanna drive slower just to be safer, because you only allowed to see about 10 feet in front of you. We gotta keep these things in mind and understand that the system is doing their job, and the people around us are doing their job to make us feel unappreciated, undervalued. When you have associates that don't respond back to your texts or calls, they're showing you they undervalue you and they don't appreciate you. When you have people scheduling things and not showing up or not being cordial or being, mindful of the time that you just made to be able to do whatever it is you're gonna do, that's them taking advantage of the situation, showing you that they undervalue you and don't appreciate you. It's a list of things you can line into that category that's gonna show that the way people are moving around you, they don't value you. And for me, what I have to do with some of these beings is some of them I cut completely off, and then some of them, the relationships just become strictly transactional. Strictly transactional. But I ain't want to run it up too long, you know what I mean? Just keep these things in mind, apply these tools in life, and then just sharpen your awareness. Heighten your senses. And understand that in this culture we in today, it's designed to make you feel undervalued and underappreciated. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.